Now we're going to make some actual candles or votives. We talked about making lamps, and I've got another example here of a lamp configuration with this clamshell. But a true candle actually has a wick, and it goes throughout the vessel. So I've got a number of examples here. Like I said, it was starting out with a lamp configuration, which would be a clamshell, an oyster shell, a piece of clay, or a piece of metal. This configuration is probably the most hazardous. It gets warm when the oil heats up, so you probably have to have some sort of holder or a mat if you had it lit, a fireproof mat. We got a piece of metal here, which is aluminum foil cup, and that's pretty easy to make. And quick and dirty. We've got a tuna can, which is more or less the same configuration as the aluminum foil, just an old tuna can. And then we've got some glass that we're going to reuse, a little old jar that we're going to reuse. And as you can see, I've got some chopsticks or any sort of stick or whatever, and then you just tie the wick around the stick and let the wick hang into the vessel. The wick that I'm using is dog bane, but any sort of fibrous material can be used. All right, let's start off with making a vessel out of aluminum foil. This would be kind of a resilience or an emergency type of lighting configuration. If you didn't have anything else but some aluminum foil, you can essentially go ahead and fold it and basically into a loose square. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to make a loose square. And really, you could probably take the bottom of a jar or something like that and just mold it around and you've got a vessel. But in the case you don't have that, all you have is some aluminum foil. You got a loose square here, and what you want to do is the corners of the square you want to fold in. So now you've got two corners here, and you fold those towards each other. So this is basically some useful origami. So I want to fold in this corner, and then fold together the two corners that are created. Okay, and then I go to the other corner and do the same thing. So I'm folding this in, and then I'm going to connect these two corners together. Then fold this corner in, and I'm going to fold these together. And really what you do then is you kind of make it a box, quick box, and you just smash the two corners together around the corner, the edges, or the wall of the box here. And, again, we're not going for art. I'm not trying to make this pretty. I'm not trying to sell a dozen of these at the boutique. But we just want something that's going to hold. It's going to be watertight. It's going to hold liquid, which is going to be our tallow. And then what I'm going to do, go ahead and just fold this down. You can make this as big or as small as you need it. And this is just some useful origami. There's lots of origami that is very ornamental and pretty and cool, and then there's some techniques of origami or ways of folding things that can be quite useful in a survival or emergency situation. So I'm just going to round this out just to make sure it's all tight, and that's just a real quick way of making a vessel. Anything that'll hold its shape like this. Some useful origami, you can fold and pin together large leaves to hold things as well. So here you go. So that's just pretty much how you make a vessel out of aluminum foil. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our tallow here, and I'm going to start with this aluminum foil configuration for a candle here. And what we want to do first is just dip the wick in the tallow first. So we want the wick to be saturated with the tallow, and I'm going to try not to be too messy here. And that'll make it easier to light, and it'll make it easier to stay lit. So let's do that there. Make sure the tallow that I'm using my fingers to wipe it away, the excess away, but make sure it's warm to the touch and not hot. Don't burn yourself. I just used the microwave right quick to melt it down, so it's kind of regulated temperature. And I kind of want to have my configuration balanced over the top, and then my wick will sit on top like so. And then what you're going to do is then next you're going to carefully pour in your tallow, and I'll pour that there like so. And then what will happen is that'll solidify, and then you will have a wick that you can then pull out and snip to size and then light, and it'll be in the middle of your candle. So I've already dipped this this jar with the wick with tallow here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour the tallow in there. I could probably take the wick configuration out for safety, but we'll see how it goes here. I'll just kind of gently pour the rest of it in here. There we go. So we have a nice tall candle that'll solidify. And then for our more very primitive configuration here, I want to go ahead and just take a little bit of tallow here and pour some in there, just a little bit. I don't need a whole lot because it'll get messy. The way that these shells lay, sometimes the tallow wants to pour out, as you can possibly see. You can probably see when it lays solid. So you may not need a whole lot for just a quick lamp. So for your cave painting. So we'll see if we can get this to balance or to hold its shape. So I may have to prop this up and let it get solid, or create some sort of configuration so this will burn and hold as a cup. But conceptually, I just want to make sure that you dip your wick in there, and then you would set this in there, and then go ahead and light this, and then do your cave painting if you needed to. But holding it like such would probably be a little dangerous because the tallow does get hot. Alright, I let these set for a minute, and I'm just going to release the wicks from their stick holders, or chopstick holders is what I'm using. You can wash these up later. And I can go ahead and kind of snip these to size. There you go, there's one, and then there's two. Alright, so, and then we'll go ahead and we can light these and see how they do. The one that I'm most concerned about, just because of the shape of the shell or the vessel, is this primitive one with a clamshell. So again, this would probably have to be carefully held in one's hand, or you could make a holder out of wood or clay or something like that, or a pair of tongs. So, and it also would be something that you'd have to hold. You couldn't set it down because of the way this clamshell is shaped. It's gonna the tallow is going to want to run all over the place. But just for demo purposes, I'm going to show this as an idea when you're going completely primitive. So let's see here. We got so using ember or a lit twig from a fire, you could safely do this. I'm cheating and using a modern day lighter. And there are the two candles, and notice how they're readily burning right away with the being dipped in tallow. Figure out a safe way to do this. And just light this, the Aboriginal one. And then we have the three. And again, I'm going to keep my eye on this as this starts to melt down. But essentially, these are your tallow candles with one lamp. And this would be more of a lamp you can hold. And the candles we've actually structured like if you were using actual paraffin or beeswax. So, there you have it.